So I've met a lot of people over the years while doing this who either told me that they were, studying with Jehovah's Witnesses for a while or they're about to, but then all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I stopped, or I'm so glad I got out when I did. So basically in this video, I just want to go over some of the common reasons why people stop their study with Jehovah's Witnesses. And I'll even give you my perspective of what it was like studying with people when I was a Jehovah's Witness. Number one, they refuse to convert. So this is one of the most common reasons, and I think it's sad because people need to understand that Jehovah's Witnesses are not your friends. All right, these Bible studies, when they come to your home, if you're watching this, you're currently studying with a witness and you're like, ooh, I don't know if I like what she's gonna have to say in this video. These Bible studies, when they bring their literature, their Watchtower and Awake, whatever publication they're studying with you, when they bring these things to your house, they're there to recruit you. This isn't just a Bible discussion, even though they might frame it that way. And they may be the nicest person. I'm not saying that the sister who's coming to your house to study with you is a bad person or has bad motives. A lot of Jehovah's Witnesses are genuinely, yes, I know this is shocking for me to say, but a lot of them are genuinely nice people, very friendly people. But she is there with the intention to recruit you. She's not going to frame it in that language. But yeah, this is not social hour. And I don't think some people get that. And I think that's sad because some people are lonely or they really do like talking about the Bible and it doesn't really click for them what's happening. I mean, some people really get attached that they found a friend, a like-minded individual who enjoys discussing the Bible or spiritual things. They get attached to their Bible teacher. Bible teacher, that's what they call themselves. The Bible teacher and the student, only to find out that when they say, oh, I really enjoy when you come by. You're really nice. I love to talk about the Bible with you. But I just know I'm not going to convert. My whole family, is Episcopalian or whatever. Fill in the blank. I'm going to raise my kids that way. I hope that's okay. But I still like when you come by. That's okay. And that's when the Bible teacher bolts and the person is shocked because they don't know what just happened. Oh, I thought we were friends. They never see the Bible teacher again. I mean, back when I was a witness, I knew people who studied for 5 years. They weren't my studies. But I knew older sisters in the congregation who would I'd go work out in service, preaching with them, knocking on doors, and they would make something called return visits, or they would have what they would call a Bible study. So I would go with them, and I'm thinking, we've been seeing this lady for the past, haven't you been studying with her for 3 years? Of course, I was young at the time and didn't think about this or think to say this to them. I wasn't going to say that to an older, mature sister, but I thought it was so stupid. I'm like, the person's not doing anything. You're just reviewing material with them and they're not making any steps to become a witness. Not that I care, but I'm just in Jehovah's Witnesses, there's something called progressive Bible studies, and they will tell you, in fact, we used to have a term for it. If you were studying with a witness and you weren't making any progress towards baptism, it was called watering dead stumps. So if you were that Bible student who wasn't doing anything, just studying week after week, just kind of half-assing it, they would tell you at the Kingdom Hall, they would tell witnesses, hey, if you're seeing these people, you're just watering dead stumps. You're not going to get anywhere with these people. Cut them loose. That's what the leadership would call you if you were studying and you weren't making any progress towards baptism and converting. They're expecting you to get baptized. This isn't social hour. So if you have no intention of getting baptized as a Jehovah's Witness, an official card-carrying Jehovah's Witness, there's no point. They're going to drop you anyway. So sometimes for some people, when that finally hits them and it clicks oh, I was just being recruited, they stop their study. Number two, the witnesses are getting intrusive. So another problem that comes up is when somebody's studying with a worldly person who's living out of wedlock, has a live-in boyfriend or girlfriend, and everything's fine at first. Oh, no problems, not my business. But as they study more, as the study progresses, the Bible teacher starts to get more intrusive about their relationship, starts to put their hands in the pot. I mean, Jehovah's Witnesses don't allow premarital sex, all right? So if you want to join and you're serious about it, you're going to have to get married. They're not going to be okay with you living in sin. So if you don't like the fact that your Bible teacher is pressuring you to get married, you pick the wrong group. So, if you're not sure that you want to marry your partner, you're having problems, baby drama, they're going to get in your business. And this is not a good, even if you have somebody out there is just well, you shouldn't be living out of wedlock. That child needs to have married parents. Whatever the thing, it's still not a good thing that the Jehovah's Witness is getting up in your business because they are not qualified marital counselors or relationship counselors. They don't have any qualifications in any sort of professional pastoral capacity. All right, in their own minds they do. I actually did a video about this last year called Eat, Pray, Fornicate. I'll pin a comment if you want to watch it, talking about how it's very common, how a lot of people stop their studies because their Bible teacher's getting up in their business. Number 3, the literature left a bad taste in their mouth. So some people may express initial interest, or like they're cool with the witness coming back and chatting with them because they like that witness, that specific witness that they spoke to. For some reason, they were really impressed with that person. They were impressed with that witness. For some reason, that witness really appealed to them. But then what happens is the person starts flipping through the literature and is like, this sounds like it's written for a 5-year-old. I'm not a moron. I actually went to seminary or have some seminary training, or I grew up in a religious family. I know that this, and this is definitely not true. Like, they feel insulted. And again, the sad part is this person might actually really be yearning for truth, yearning and searching for answers. And, then they meet a witness and, they start flipping through this material and they're like, they realize that their values don't align. They're like, okay, you guys are definitely homophobic. Okay, there's gonna be a massive apocalypse and only you guys are gonna survive. All right, sounding a little culty. And then they start to dig deeper and, read more materials or look on the internet at their website. Go to jw.org, not even apostate material. They just go to Watchtower's website and they're like, yeah, I don't think this is something that I want to get involved with. Number 4, lack of community outreach. All right, since Jehovah's Witnesses are considered a church by the state, they are a tax-exempt organization, which means they should be allocating some of those funds towards community outreach programs like help for the homeless or a soup kitchen, clothing and diapers. Jehovah's Witnesses don't do anything to help the community. But not even that, the craziest part is they don't even help their own. They don't even provide these things for their own registered card-carrying members. I knew a sister back in my mid-20s, had a toddler and a baby. Her husband was a total moron, quit his job to pioneer. They were broke as fuck. She couldn't afford diapers. She had to go to the local church to get diapers. And I was indoctrinated at the time, but even at the moment, I was like, oh, you're going to a church. I didn't say this to her, but I was thinking to myself, oh, you're going to a church to get diapers. You're going to Christendom. You're going to false religion for help. Ooh, where the hell else is she going to go? She's not getting any help from her own congregation. And I also remember when I was 12 years old, I was out knocking on doors preaching with my parents on a Saturday morning, and a guy came. We were in an apartment complex, and some strange dude, was walking through the apartment complex, and so dumb. Of course, my parents were like, here's a magazine. Go give this strange man a magazine. Had no problem with their minor daughter approaching some strange man. So anyways, I walked up to him and I gave him the Watchtower, and I could tell, I was too young, but I could tell something was going on. A screw was loose. Anyways, I remember him saying something like, oh, okay, thanks, I'll take it. Like, he took the magazine, but he's like, hey, I need help with, I don't remember what it was specifically. I need help with my car. My house I need help with my house. I can't pay my bills. I don't know. I lost my job. I don't know. He lost his job or something was going on. And again, I was 12 years old. I didn't know how to respond. So I went back to my dad. I told him what happened. And my dad was just like, oh no, those people are just looking for charity. And then I think my mom piped up or something like, those people are just, looking for handouts from a local church. We're not looking for those types. We're not interested in those people. We're looking for people who are searching for the truth, for honest-hearted people. And here's the deal. Jehovah's Witnesses are actually not equipped to handle that kind of thing. Like, a lot of these people that we met in these neighborhoods needed help. They needed like a mental health facility or a halfway house. Or maybe they just need material goods first before they have the mental faculties. They need the calories and nutrition and detox required to even begin to hear our indoctrination and our sales pitch and our preaching. It was so stupid. Like, I'm not making fun of the person. I'm just thinking, like, do you really think this person that you have preached to, they agreed to come to the Kingdom Hall, they're sitting at the Kingdom Hall, they look like they're off their rocker. Do you actually think they're grasping? Do you actually think they have the full mental faculties and capacity to process what they're learning? They need help getting on their feet. They don't need to be here at the Kingdom Hall. And you sure as hell ain't gonna help them. So bottom line to all this is there are some people throughout the years who realize, like, oh, you're not gonna help me, man? Or like, help me and my baby have a good life? Yeah, they don't stick around. And number 5, they went online. Okay, so this is the number one reason people stop their study. They finally do a Google search on the witnesses. They're like, holy crap, I had no idea about the CSA cases. And all these YouTubers, former Jehovah's Witnesses who are like, oh, I haven't seen my family in 10 to 15 years. I'm shunned because I left and I don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness. Never saw their family again. They're like, this is insane. They didn't tell me any of this when they first came to my door. They didn't mention this once during our studies. And in all fairness to the witness, like in their defense, a lot of witnesses don't know because they're not supposed to go online either. A lot of Jehovah's Witnesses are in the dark, either because they're afraid, they're brainwashed not to look at anything critical of the witnesses, and some know, and they're just making a choice. But for the Bible student, like, their brain explodes. And by the way, real quick, if you are this person who's currently studying with Jehovah's Witnesses, if you bring this up, if this is shocking to you right now to learn, if this is new to you, all new to you, if you bring this up with your Bible teacher at your next study, they're going to tell you it's all apostate lies. XJ-dubs in the comments, am I wrong? So warning you now, fair warning. They're gonna tell you that people like me and other XJW YouTubers are agents of Satan. Ooh, don't go on the internet. It's all apostate lies. They're just lying, they're bitter. And I'm also warning you that it's futile to try to reason with them. Don't try to reason with them. Just expect that that's gonna be the answer. They're gonna freak out. They're gonna be like, oh, don't watch those people. You have to be careful about what you read on the internet. Which is true, but also the same could apply to them. And when you have people coordinating their efforts on a global scale. It's not just me. It's people in Croatia, in the UK, Australia. I left and I was damaged by this organization. It's not just one story. If you go on Amazon and you want to buy a pair of leggings and, 60,000 reviews say, don't buy these, I got a infection in my crotchal area, they just might know what they're talking about. The reality is, if Jehovah's Witnesses do in fact have the truth, they shouldn't care that you're watching me. Because they have nothing to fear. They shouldn't care that you're listening to people's stories or doing your research. Again, they would just shrug it off because they have nothing to fear. Instead, their reaction should tell you everything that you need to know. As with anything, the herpes leggings, you're gonna buy a car, a house, you're gonna do the necessary due diligence. That's a reasonable expectation before committing yourself to something that large. So if they freak out and chastise you for going on the internet, that's a huge red flag. So what about you? Did any of this describe you? Did you ever study with witnesses in the past? Are you currently studying? I hope you guys found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I want to give a big shout out to channel members for your continued support, and to everyone who keeps tuning in to stop the shunning week after week. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a great week, and I'll see you soon.